When I was in middle school, I wanted to try and be like this cool, self reliant kind of guy. So I distanced myself from my parents because, I thought I didn't need them anymore and I thought I was going to be my own man. And it was time to let my parents go. I started becoming more rude to my parents and I didn't want them to go places with me. I got rude when they talked about things I struggled with, saying, I need you to let me do this on my own. It's my time now. I didn't tell my parents that I loved them for almost 2 years. I didn't realize it back then, but those actions were so awful, short-sighted, and hurtful to both me and my parents. Nothing I did there benefited either of us socially, emotionally, physically. Nothing I did was good. And I know so many teens just like me who are out there trying to push their parents away when your parents are going to be there for you no matter what. And they're even if you push them away, they're going to push back trying to get closer to you. And you need to make sure that you love them because they're going to be gone one day and you want them to know that you love them. Now, your family is always going to be there. Now, obviously, this video does not apply to you if you have abusive parents or something. And if you genuinely do have abusive parents, this video is not going to help at all. So, if you want to watch it, you might actually get something out of it with trying to mend your relationship. But if they're truly like sick and psycho, you need to seek more help than just this video because it's this is not going to be enough. But for most of you that are watching this, your parents are not abusive. You know, even if you think they are, like, oh, they hit me, they're not abusive and they're not mean people. Because for most of you guys, no, it doesn't even matter if they hit you, they scream at you, they're not actually bad people for most of you. And if they are, you need help. But if they aren't bad people, then we need to find the good in them, not the bad. But back to my point. Your parents will always be the place of the most love and support in your life. They should be who you go to whenever you need help with absolutely anything, big, small, girlfriend, gym, food, it does not matter. They should always be the ones that you go to because they will always be there for you. They have known you for the entirety of your life, and they may know you better than you know you. And maybe you think, oh, but my friends are better. But your friends, they'll come and go. Like, do you really talk to your friends from elementary school anymore? Chances are you don't. And if you do, that's great. Having friends like that is amazing. But for most of us, we don't talk to anybody we knew in elementary school. Like, I have two friends that I remember from elementary school that I still talk to this day. But your parents, they've been there since the time you were born, the second that you were born. Before you were born, they were there for you. They're going to be there when you're a teenager and you're going through puberty and getting all these hormones thrown around inside you and everything like that. They're going to be there when you're an adult. You drive your first car, you go and vote for the first time, you get a wife, you have kids. They're still going to be there for you. And if your parents are very distant and not loving to you, if you have tried to mend the relationship and they just refuse to do anything like that, go find a new parental model. For example, my martial arts teacher and I have known each other for about 12 years now. He's this like loud, fun-loving, spiritual, but also extremely like happy guy who goes around everywhere. He's nice to everyone he meets, and he's super, super helpful. And I absolutely love him, and I will often go to him about advice and help on spiritual things, on self-improvement, meditation, gym, because he knows so much more about that. And it is so easy to talk to him with that. But just like that, go find someone who truly loves you and cares about you and just bring them in closer and, treat them like they were your own dad or mom or something. But first, Parents always first. Do not go and find someone else when you have parents that love you and that will support you if you just give them the chance to do it, because they're always going to be your number one. They're literally your blood. You are so close to them in blood and in emotion that it is so easy to make a relationship with your parents if you just put forth a little more effort, especially in this modern day when everybody's hunched over on their phones or lying on their bed for the entire day. Like, trust me, if you spent 30 minutes a day with your mom, just sitting on the couch with her, you would have such a better relationship because you would know more about her. You'd know what she likes. You'd play with her all the time. Just like when we were kids and we would go play with our moms. We can do the same thing. It's not weird for a child to play with their kid. I don't care if you're 4 or 14. It does not matter. Playing with your parents is a perfectly loving, healthy, and good thing we should do. This modern world has demonized being a kid for some reason. As an adult, we're supposed to be stuck up, respectful, and like, oh, I'm mature. I don't do kid things anymore. And then everybody's depressed. All these kid things is what make us happy. Yet this modern world is like, don't do these kid things. Those are inappropriate for adults to do. But why? Why can't I go on a tree and climb it? Why can't I go swing on the monkey bars at 18 years old? It does not matter. If you want to be a kid, be a kid. Actually, I recommend that you be a kid, because being a kid is a time we were the happiest, and this is the time that you will be the happiest again. Trust me. But back to my point, you need to be grateful for your parents as well, because in the US right now, the average cost of raising a child annually can go from, at the very, very, very least, 15,000 to at the most like $21,000. Now, that is a lot of money to spend on just one singular person. Just you costs $15,000 a year. And it was about $306,000 in order to fully raise a child from 1 to 18. And no matter what your parents do or don't do for you, they are already going to pay at least $300,000 just in order for you to be cared for and grow up. Like, that is the cost of a nice house, but they spent it on making you. So always be grateful for that, no matter what happens. But there are always going to be other things that to be grateful for when it comes to your literal givers of life. So I challenge you, just grab a piece of paper or a journal or something like that. Grab a pencil and write down, just 5 minutes, write down everything that you're grateful your parents do. And don't do none of that sarcastic BS like, oh, I'm grateful my parents slapped me. No. Be genuine, Don't do any of that sarcastic stuff. Be genuine, be loving, be grateful when you write this, because trust me, if you give it just a little bit of time, so many things will come up that you do. Like, they buy you dinner, they make you food, they sign you up for clubs, they drive you places, they provide you with clothes, they give you shelter, they get you to school every day. Even if they don't drive you, you take the bus, or they've arranged plans to get you to school. They bought all your school supplies. There's so many things that they do for you that you don't even realize, because they've been giving so much that you just take them for granted. Like, the thing you are watching this video on right now was probably given to you by your parents. So be grateful for everything they do. And I just want you, just for a little bit, to take a look around everything here and think, wow, without this and without my parents, I don't know where I would be. There's truly so much your parents do and they sacrifice for your well-being and for your brother's well-being and your sister's well-being, if you have any, that we just take for granted because it's part of our daily lives, instead of really looking and caring about what they do every single day to make sure you survive and thrive. But this is another point I need to make, because I talked about this in my story, but when I was in middle school, from 7th to 8th grade, I did not say the words "I love you" to my parents for almost that entire 2 years. I can't even imagine the hurt they felt in that time when we would go to school and they'd say goodbye, I love you, and I would say bye. I was being thought I was being cool, and I thought I was being independent by not saying that. And I thought expressing my love was soft and for girls. And I know so many guys who are just like me, trying to become more independent. They distance themselves from their parents in an attempt to be more independent. And honestly, being more independent is fine. It's a good thing because there's going to be a time when we can't fall back on our parents, and we need to have, that mind and discipline and independence to do things ourselves. But we don't have to push our parents away to be more independent. Remember, without them, you wouldn't be alive. For that, they should always have your utmost gratitude and love. And if we can just show that gratitude by saying the simple words, I love you, why shouldn't we? We should make sure our parents know we love them and we have nothing but gratitude and respect for everything they have done for us. And, you know, this will help you in your entire life. But not necessarily saying I love you, but showing how much you care and how much you love people will really make you more of a likable person for everyone to be around. And as you get older, having really like strong connections and then being a likable person will also get you in girls, women that will actually be like future wife material. So making like showing people that you love them is a very easy way to be a more likable person, which will help your social life tremendously. Trust me. Now, how does all this gratitude and gratefulness help you? Now, not only will this help your parents feel better about themselves and their children and how they've raised you, but it will help you as well because as you get closer with your parents, you will spend more time with them. You'll enjoy your time with your family. And building that family relationship is so, so important because they will always be there for you and you will always be there for them. And especially with family, relationships and connections are so important because or just like when we were a kid and we scraped our knee and we went and cried and hugged our mom and she was there patting our head, telling us it was okay. She put the bandage over our knee and gave it a little kiss. Just like that, it will always be there for you in your darkest moments. Now it might be that you're struggling because you got rejected and you go to your parents and you talk about your rejection and they make you feel better. They give you a hug and tell you that it's going to be okay and any girl would be lucky to have you and anything like that. Because having, especially like family to fall back on when you're feeling down, is such a nice thing to have. And we should be grateful that we have something like that because there are kids out there who don't have that kind of family to fall back on and they have to push themselves through it and their lives are miserable. But even so, your parents are probably how you got into self improvement, whether you know it or not. What are you watching this video on right now? I talked about this earlier, but you probably got an iPad, phone, a computer, a TV, and if you still live with your parents, that was probably bought by them. Your gym membership, home gym, dumbbells you bought, something like that, parents probably bought that too. All the healthy food we're eating now, parents bought that too. As a kid, everything your life is brought in by your parents. And whether they know it, you know it, it doesn't matter. It's probably them that did whatever you are doing right now. Without them, you would not be sitting on your couch, laying in your bed right now watching my video. You would be dead. Honestly, you'd be dead. And just for that, I keep restating this. I know I keep restating this. But you really need to understand that your entire conscience, your entire brain, your eyes, your mouth, your nose, your ears, your hands, everything was made by your parents. The only reason you are alive is because of your parents. And really, really show them your love for, taking the time to birth you, to not abort you when you were still just a fetus, to raise you instead of putting you in an adoption center, to feed you, to nurture you, to send you off and make you smarter. So everything that they've done, I really want you to make sure that they know you love them for it. You know, it will take time to rebuild a connection between your parents and you, depending on how much you have distanced yourself from them. But the good news is, it is very simple to get it back. Like, I started getting it back. I would just sit with my mom. That's all I did. I sat with my mom, we watched TV together, and our relationship got so much better just by me doing that. Just simply do things like giving your parents a hug, telling your parents that you love them and that you're grateful for everything that they have done, helping them with things they need help on, even just joking with them, playing around with them. For example, me and my mom will always play fight. We'll, fake hit each other and everything like that. And just something like that builds a relationship between you so much. And it's so nice to have something like that where you can just spend time with a real person and enjoy it like everything else in your life. It might be uncomfortable at first to try and, say, I love you, mom, or go and give your dad a hug and say thank you. But you have to push through and discipline yourself to do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. See you guys next time. Bye bye.